In the Middle East, Iran holds a special and powerful position. For many countries in the Islamic world, Iran is more than just a neighbor. It is a symbol of strength and independence. As one of the largest and most influential nations in the region, its actions and policies are watched closely by leaders and citizens alike. Iran's importance comes from its rich history, its significant energy resources, and its unique political system, which combines religious leadership with a modern government structure. This combination gives Iran a distinct voice on the world stage, allowing it to project its influence far beyond its own borders and into the hearts of many discussions about the future of the region. A key part of Iran's influence comes from its role as the leader of Shia Islam. While most Muslims in the world are Sunni, large Shia populations exist in countries like Iraq, Lebanon, Bahrain, and Yemen. For these communities, Iran is a source of guidance, support, and protection. The supreme leader of Iran is not just a political figure, but also a respected religious authority for millions of Shia Muslims. This religious connection creates a deep and lasting bond that transcends national borders. Iran uses this unique position to build strong relationships with Shia communities and governments, creating a network of allies who share similar religious and political views, strengthening its overall standing. Beyond its religious significance, Iran has established itself as a major political and military power in the Middle East. It has a large, well-equipped military, and has developed its own advanced defense technology, including long-range missiles and drones. This military strength allows Iran to act independently and defend its interests without relying on foreign powers. For many other Muslim nations, this self-reliance is admirable. They see Iran as a country that has successfully resisted pressure from Western nations, particularly the United States. This perception of strength and defiance has made Iran a role model for countries that wish to follow their own path in international affairs. Perhaps most importantly, Iran is seen by many as a powerful voice against Western influence in the Middle East. Since its Islamic Revolution in 1979, Iran has consistently challenged the policies of the United States and its allies in the region. It presents itself as a defender of Islamic values and a champion for countries that feel marginalized by the global order. This strong anti-Western stance resonates with many people across the Muslim world who are critical of foreign intervention in their affairs. By standing firm, Iran has positioned itself as the leader of a movement aimed at creating a more independent and self-determined future for the nations of the Middle East. A central part of Iran's foreign policy is its support for a network of groups known as the Axis of Resistance. This is not a formal treaty organization but rather a loose alliance of state and non-state actors who share Iran's goals of challenging Israeli and American influence in the region. Iran provides these groups with crucial support, including funding, weapons, training, and political guidance. This support has allowed these organizations to become powerful forces in their own right, capable of influencing local politics and engaging in military conflicts. Through this network, Iran can extend its reach across the Middle East, from the shores of the Mediterranean Sea to the mountains of Yemen. The most prominent member of this alliance is Hezbollah in Lebanon. Founded with Iran's help in the 1980s, Hezbollah has grown into a formidable military and political force. It possesses a vast arsenal of rockets and anti-tank missiles, making it a serious threat on Israel's northern border. Iran's support has been instrumental in Hezbollah's development, transforming it into one of the most powerful non-state military actors in the world. For Iran, Hezbollah is a key strategic partner, acting as a deterrent against potential attacks, and giving Iran a direct line of influence in the Levant, the area of the Middle East that includes countries like Lebanon and Syria. Iran also provides significant support to Palestinian groups, most notably Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad. These groups are at the forefront of the conflict with Israel, and Iran's assistance helps them sustain their operations. By backing these organizations, Iran reinforces its image as a defender of the Palestinian cause, a position that earns it widespread respect and admiration throughout the Muslim world. This support creates a persistent challenge for Israel, as it must contend with well-armed and motivated groups operating in close proximity to its major cities. Iran's role ensures that the conflict remains a central issue in regional politics, keeping pressure on Israel from multiple directions. The axis of resistance extends to other parts of the region as well. In Iraq, Iran supports various Shia militias that have become integrated into the country's security forces, giving Tehran significant sway over Iraqi politics. In Yemen, Iran backs the Houthi movement, which controls the capital and large parts of the country. The Houthis have demonstrated their ability to disrupt global trade by attacking ships in the Red Sea, showing how Iran's allies can have an impact on a global scale. This broad network of partners allows Iran to project its power and challenge its adversaries on multiple fronts, making it a central and unavoidable player in the complex geopolitics of the Middle East. For Israel, no single issue is more critical to its national security than Iran's nuclear program. Israeli leaders have repeatedly stated that a nuclear-armed Iran would pose an existential threat to their country's survival. They worry that if Iran were to develop nuclear weapons, it could use them to attack Israel directly, or use the threat of attack to intimidate Israel and its allies. This concern is heightened by the anti-Israel rhetoric often used by Iranian leaders, which Israeli officials take as a clear sign of hostile intentions. Therefore, preventing Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons has become the top priority for Israel's defense and foreign policy establishment for many years. The concern over Iran's nuclear ambitions is rooted in the country's advancing technological capabilities. International inspectors have confirmed that Iran has been enriching uranium to levels far beyond what is needed for civilian nuclear power, bringing it closer to the threshold for weapons-grade material. While Iran insists that its program is for peaceful purposes only, its lack of full transparency and past activities have raised deep suspicions in Israel and among Western powers. Israeli intelligence agencies closely monitor Iran's nuclear facilities, always watchful for signs that Iran might be making a final push to build a bomb. This constant vigilance creates a state of high tension between the two nations. Israel's strategy for dealing with this perceived threat has been multifaceted. Diplomatically, Israel has worked for years to persuade the international community, especially the United States, to impose strict sanctions on Iran to slow down its nuclear progress. It has also engaged in covert operations, including cyber attacks and other actions, aimed at disrupting and sabotaging the program from within. These efforts are designed to buy time and prevent Iran from reaching a point of no return. Israeli leaders believe that every delay to the program is a victory for their nation's long-term security, giving them more options to handle the situation without resorting to open conflict. However, the threat of military action always remains on the table. Israel has made it clear that it will not allow Iran to become a nuclear power, and is prepared to use its own military to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities if it believes that is the only option left. This stance creates a dangerous and volatile dynamic in the region, as a preemptive Israeli strike could trigger a massive all-out war with Iran and its proxies. The possibility of such a conflict is a major source of instability in the Middle East, with profound implications not only for Israel and Iran, but for the entire world. Beyond the nuclear issue, Israel faces a more immediate and constant threat from Iran's network of proxy groups. Organizations like Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza are positioned directly on Israel's borders, armed and funded by Tehran. These groups regularly engage in conflict with Israel, launching rockets, drones, and other attacks against both military and civilian targets. This creates a persistent state of insecurity for Israeli citizens, especially those living in the northern and southern parts of the country. For Israel, this proxy warfare is a strategic nightmare, as it is forced to fight multiple battles on different fronts against enemies who are committed to its destruction. The challenge for Israel is that these groups are deeply embedded within civilian populations, making it extremely difficult to fight them without causing significant harm to non-combatants. When Israel responds to attacks from Hezbollah or Hamas, it often leads to international criticism and diplomatic pressure. Iran understands this dynamic and uses its proxies to wage a war of attrition against Israel, hoping to exhaust its military and damage its international reputation over time. This strategy puts Israel in a difficult position, as it must choose between defending its citizens and avoiding actions that could lead to broader condemnation and political isolation. Iran's support for these groups also serves to encircle Israel strategically. With hostile forces in Lebanon, Syria, and Gaza, Israel finds itself surrounded by adversaries who are coordinated and directed by Tehran. This multi-front threat forces the Israeli military to divide its resources and attention, making it harder to focus on any single danger. The presence of Iranian-backed militias in Syria has also brought Iranian forces closer to Israel's borders than ever before, increasing the risk of a direct confrontation between the two countries. This strategic encirclement is a key part of Iran's long-term plan to weaken Israel and shift the balance of power in the region. In conclusion, the relationship between Iran and Israel is defined by deep hostility and strategic competition. For many in the Islamic world, Iran is a symbol of resistance and a leader against foreign domination. Its support for groups fighting Israel is seen as a defense of the Palestinian cause. For Israel, however, Iran represents the greatest threat to its security. Its nuclear program, its powerful military, and its network of well-armed proxies create a complex and dangerous challenge. This fundamental conflict of interests ensures that Iran and Israel will remain at the center of the Middle East's most pressing security dilemmas for the foreseeable future, shaping the destiny of the entire region.